afternoon to all the NEET aspirants. This is your Prasanna Ma'am from NEET World. So yes, in our previous sessions, we have clearly solved all the NEET previous year questions from the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variations. And we have looked into all the statement based questions, most importantly numerical questions from law of independent assortment, exceptions to Mendelian dihybrid cross, exceptions to Mendelian monohybrid cross. Most importantly, from Mendelian disorders, we have solved autosomal recessive, autosomal dominant, important sex-linked recessive diseases, hemophilia and color blindness. All this we have solved. Based on the clear analysis of NEET previous year questions from this chapter, we have drafted few set of questions where I will be taking it in 2 sessions. Today is the first session for that. This advanced questionnaire session will be targeting your NEET 2026. Okay. So, without much delay, let us get started. First question, if you see, the question is about which of the following is not correct dominant and recessive trait pair of Pisum sativum. So, here if you see axile and terminal flower position, axile is dominant, terminal position is recessive. Tall and dwarf, tall is dominant, dwarf is recessive. Stem height, okay. So, this combination is correct with respect to dominant and recessive trait. Yellow and green pod color, green pod color is dominant, yellow is recessive. So, this is wrong, okay. This is recessive and this is dominant. Dominant is green and recessive is yellow. So, this will be wrong. Round and wrinkled, round is dominant, wrinkled is recessive, this will be correct only. Full and constricted pod shape, full is dominant, constricted variety is recessive. Yellow and green color, yellow is dominant, green will be recessive. Violet white color flower, violet and white flower color, violet will be dominant, white flower color will be recessive. Inflattened, constricted, inflattened is dominant, constricted will be recessive. So, amongst all these options, which is not correct dominant and recessive trait, option B will be the right answer, because here yellow is recessive and green will be dominant. Okay. So, option B is the right answer. Good. In our previous NEET questions, 2 questions we have solved in our previous from 2025 to 2020 when we have exercised. 2 questions were asked on the contrasting traits, varieties and characters which are considered by Mendel in his dihybrid cross and monohybrid cross. And next, read the following statements and find out the incorrect statement. Okay. Theory classes भी है, आप playlist में देखो बेटा. This is questionnaire session, okay, where I will be including the concept as well wherever required and sorting out the questions. Complete concept class चाहिए तो आप वो playlist देखो, okay. Next, read the following statements and find out the incorrect statement. Incorrect statements need to be identified. So, look at it properly. First, statement A, genetics deals with the inheritance as well as variation of characters from parents to offspring. True. Genetics deals with what? Inheritance as well as variations of characters which are being transferred from parents to offsprings. B, variation is a process by which characters are passed from parents to progeny. Wrong. Variation is not, variation is the degree or the amount of change that happens, that is observed from parents to offsprings. What is this? That characters that are being transmitted from parents to offsprings is said to be inheritance, not variation. So, B is incorrect. Inheritance is the basis of heredity. True. Inheritance is the degree by which progeny differs from parents. Wrong. Variation is the degree, variation is the degree by which the progeny differs from the parents. Okay. So, this will be wrong. And then statement E, humans knew from as early as 8000 to 10,000 BC that one of the causes of variation was hidden in asexual reproduction. Okay. One of the causes is hidden in where? Asexual reproduction. So, this is wrong. Cause of variation is hidden in where? Sexual reproduction. Cause of variation is hidden in sexual reproduction. Fine. You just type the name of the chapter and ask for the concept, you will get it. Okay, in this channel only go for playlist and you will get it. Yeah, so here as the question is to identify the incorrect options over here will be B, D and E. Option A will be the right answer. And then next question you see ma, a homozygous plant with red flower is crossed with recessive white. Red is dominant over white. Red is dominant over white. The progeny in the F1 generation would be. Okay, so homozygous red color flower is crossed with recessive white color flower. And they asked us for F1 generation. In F1 generation, we will get all red color flowers only, because when this example is given, you should not get confused it with Snapdragon example of incomplete dominance. Nowhere here about incomplete dominance or about the example the question is asked. The question is being put only looking into the flower color, and dominant homozygous, dominant heterozygous were crossed and asking us to identify the F1 generation. When homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive are crossed, and in F1 generation heterozygous condition is observed. Okay, pure heterozygous condition is observed in F1 generation. Heterozygous dominant means this will show dominant phenotype only, that is red colored flowers. Okay, red colored flowers. So all red, that is option A. Okay, next question. Look at here. On crossing two heterozygous tall plants, a total of 500 plants were obtained in F1 generation. What will be the respective number of tall and dwarf obtained in F1 generation? So, sorry, this will be F2 generation. Okay. So, on crossing heterozygous tall when it is crossed in F1 generation, what will be the respective amount of tall and dwarf? The question is asked, right? So, here what will be homozygous tall, 2 heterozygous tall and 1 homozygous dwarf. So, only about phenotype the question is asked, right? So, capital T, this is dominant and these two are dominant. So, it is 3:4. 3 by 4% of the offsprings or probability of the offsprings are tall and 1/4 of them are dwarf. 1/4 of them are dwarf. Fine. So, here if you see 3/4 of them are tall, right. So, it will be 3 by 4 into total number of offsprings are how many? 500 will give you out what? 375. Fine. And then 1/4 into 500 will be giving you out 125. Fine. So, this will be the answer. Option A is the right answer. Option A will be the right answer. This is how you have to calculate. Okay. Out of 4, amongst 4 offsprings, the probability of tall plants is 3/4 and the probability of dwarf is 1/4. You have to multiply it with the total offsprings. That's it. Total number of plants that are being put in the question. Just multiply for that total plants and then you will get the amount of offsprings. Okay. Next question. Here you see ma, in F2 generation of Mendelian dihybrid cross, number of phenotypes and genotypes. How many number of phenotypes and genotypes are seen in F2 generation of Mendelian dihybrid cross? Okay. A total of, in Mendelian dihybrid cross, a total of 4 phenotypes are observed. 4 phenotypes, where the phenotypic ratio is 9:3:3:1. Okay. So, these questions and coming up questions you need to have a clear idea on genotypic and phenotypic ratio of Mendelian dihybrid cross. Here you see I will be telling you a small trick in analyzing complete phenotypic and genotypic ratios and how you can apply it for the calculations. Okay. Mendelian dihybrid cross. So, here you look into Phenotypic ratio includes nine is to 3:1, where 9 are round and yellow and 3 will be round and wrinkled, and 3 will be wrinkled and yellow, 1 will be wrinkled and green, right ma? So round yellow, round wrinkled, wrinkled green and wrinkled green. These are the 4 phenotypes that you have observed in your dihybrid cross, right? Mendelian dihybrid cross, this will be the phenotypic ratio. From this, what type of genotypes are obtained? From this 9 round and yellow, 1 is homozygous dominant. From your Punnett square, refer to your Punnett square which is given in your NCERT and look at this, okay. So 1 is homozygous dominant, 4 will be heterozygous dominant, and 2, rest 2, 1 gene is heterozygous, 1 gene will be homozygous, 2 such will be present. One will be homozygous and the other will be heterozygous. Got it? This is the genotypic distribution of the phenotype round and yellow. This you see 3 which are round and green. So here you see ma, of which 1 is in the homozygous condition, round and green, and 2 will be in the heterozygous dominant and green. Okay, 3 round and green. 3 wrinkled and yellow, of which 1 is homozygous and 2 will be heterozygous condition. Fine, wrinkled and yellow. And then if you see this one, it is 1 wrinkled and green. This will be the genotypic distribution. How many genotypes you can observe beta? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total. So if you look into the number of offsprings also, total 16 genotypes will be observed. 16 genotypes. Okay, here 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1, total 16 types of genotypes are observed. So what will be the right answer over here? 4 phenotypes and 16 genotypes will be observed. Fine. And next if you see the cytological, just a second. So on total you have 4 phenotypes and how many genotypes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9. Total you have 9 genotypes, sorry. On total you will be having how much? 9 genotypes. So here 4 phenotypes and 9 genotypes, that will be your answer. Option D is the right answer. And this, if you want, you can take a screenshot also. If you understand this properly, this you can apply in all different modes of questions that are asked from Mendelian dihybrid cross. Okay? Fine. The cytological event that corresponds to the Mendelian law of independent assortment is seen in Mendel's law of independent assortment, which says that at the time of gamete formation, the transmission of alleles of one allele is independent to the other. Okay. So, in the independent cytologically, the law of independent assortment is clearly observed during what? Metaphase 1 and anaphase 1, sorry. Here the right answer will be option A, anaphase 1, because here only the chromosomal distribution will be happening, centromere splitting and the movement of the alleles will be happening. Okay, so here the option is A. Next question you see ma, if a pea plant produces 2560 seeds during a dihybrid cross between round and yellow and wrinkled and green plant, then how many seeds are wrinkled and yellow, round and yellow, wrinkled and green? Okay. So, how many will be wrinkled and yellow is the question. Wrinkled and yellow will be 3, round and yellow will be 9 and wrinkled and green will be 1. So, it will be for total 16 seeds, wrinkled and yellow will be 3, 9 are round and yellow will be 9 and one is wrinkled and green. Wrinkled and green is 1. So, out of 2560 seats we have to see 3 by 4 are wrinkled and yellow into 2560 will give you the answer around 480 seats. Fine. Next, round and yellow. Round and yellow, the ratio is how much, ma? 9 by 16. 9 by 16 into 2560 will give you 1440 seats. And then if you see one wrinkled and green seat, that is 1 by 16 into 2560. What will be your answer? Approximately 160 seats. Fine. So, option B is right answer over here. This is how you have to calculate. How these ratios you can easily remember by looking into this distribution properly. If you clearly understood this distribution, if you can fix this in your mind, then you can easily apply those ratios and you can identify the answers for such questions. Next, in 4 o'clock plant, the gene for red flower color is incompletely dominant over the gene for white color flower, that is small r. Hence, the plant for heterozygous flower will give you what? Pink flowers. What will be the ratio of offsprings in cross between red flowers and pink flowers? What will be the ratio? The cross between red flowers and pink flowers. So, red flowers will be homozygous dominant capital R, pink flowers will be in heterozygous condition. What will be the ratio of the offsprings when these two are crossed is the question. So, here if you have to see, ma, capital R and then again a heterozygous condition and then a heterozygous condition, homozygous condition. Okay. So, it will be 1:1 ratio of red and pink, yes or no? 1:1 ratio of red and pink. So, here 50% of it are red flowers and 50% of it are pink flowers. Option C is the right answer. Here you look into this question. This is from gene mapping. Fine. Distance between the genes A, B, C, D in map units is, so AD distance is 3.5 map units or centimorgan also you can say, BC is 1, AB is 6, CD is 1.5 and AC is 5. So, all the time what I told you beta, you have to plot from those two genes which has maximum distance or maximum recombination frequency. So, here if you see those two genes A and B are having how much? 6 map units of distance, 6 map units of distance in between A and B, and then A and C is having how much? 5 map units of distance, and then A and C 5. A and D has 3.5 map units of distance. BC will be 1 map unit and CD will be 1.5. So, here what will be the right answer, ma? What will be the right sequence of the genes on this chromosome? First it will be A, followed by D, followed by C, followed by B. Whenever the question is asked on gene mapping, first you have to identify those two genes amongst which the distance is large. Then you have to minimize the distance and then plot on the chromosome, the gene sequence on the chromosome. Okay. So, here if you see A, D, C and B, option A will be the right answer. Okay. Next, last question of today's session, that is assertion reason type of question. So, in assertion it is asked like, Morgan carried out several dihybrid crosses in Drosophila to study the genes that were sex linked. Okay. Yes, the experimental proof or the experimental analysis for chromosomal theory of inheritance is done by Morgan on Drosophila melanogaster, that is fruit fly. So assertion is true only. In reason, Morgan hybridized yellow bodied white eyed male to brown bodied red eyed female. True. Okay, Morgan has conducted a hybridization between yellow bodied white eyed males and brown bodied red eyed females. They have intercrossed in their F1 generation. So here both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Okay. So with this and here the option, right option is option A. With this we have finished the first advanced set of questionnaire today, and in next session we are going to exercise again 30 more questions on the same chapter. Okay, principles of inheritance and variation targeting NEET 2026. So don't miss these sessions at all, which are highly beneficial for all the students who are giving a strong attempt in NEET 2026. That's all for today, and thank you.